Okay, so question 14. Find surface area. Over here we have a rec a rectangular pyramid, right? And this is like a square on the bottom, so that means that all of these sides are equal. I forgot to mention that, right? Now, how do we find the surface area? Well, we can split this shape into four separate pieces, or five separate pieces, sorry. So I'm gonna drag this up. We're gonna have one square on the bottom, and then four same size triangles on every side, right? Now, in order to find the triangles area, what we need is its height. But how do we find the height? If you know the triangle's height is this piece right here, this is the height of the triangle. Right, let me write that in red. This is the height of the triangle. This is what we're trying to find. So how do we do this? Well, if we look at this rectangular pyramid from a side view, we're gonna see a triangle. Let me try to draw a better triangle. Something like this. There you go. Now we already have the height and we already have the base, which is half of 35. So if this is 35, the whole thing, we want just half of this, because what we're doing is we're splitting these into two right angle triangles, and we're using the Pythagorean theorem to find this over here. So if you don't know what the Pythagorean theorem is, it's a square plus b square is equal to c square. And our a square is currently half of 35. So our a square, we already know. Our b square is our height over here. This is going to be our b square. And our c square is what we're trying to find out. So let's replace these. So first off, what is 35 divided by 2? Now, what 35 divided by 2 is, we're going to get 17.5. So I'm going to erase this right here. And I'm actually going to erase this separate triangle on this side. Instead, I'm going to write down 17.5 as our a square, our a, and we have to square it. We haven't squared it right now. Our b square is going to be 21. Let me erase this. 21.6, and we have to square it. And finally, if we do both of those, we get c squared. All right. Now, let's put this in our formula. A squared is 17.5 squared plus b squared, or 21.6 squared is equal to c squared, right? Now, first of all, what is 17.5 times 17.5, or 17.5 squared? The answer is 306, or that zero kind of looks like a 6, so 306.3 if we round it. And what is 21.6 multiplied by 21.6, or 21.6 squared? And the answer to that is 466.6, if you round it, is equal to c squared. Now, if we add everything together, so that would mean 306.3 plus 466.6 is equal to 77, or 772.9 if we round it. Now, finally, once we're done, we're not finished yet, because 772.9 is equal to c squared. So c squared. But we want to find c. So what do? We put square root. So we square root on this side, square root on this side. And since square and square root are the same, or opposites, I mean, they get cut off. Right? So let's erase that. And we get regular c. So now all we have to do is find out the square root of 772.9. So what is the square root of 772.9? And our answer is 27.8 if you round. Now that is our c, right? So that is this side. Let's write that down. 27.8. Now, with this in mind, we can start finding our surface area. Let's start with the square. If we want to find the surface area of the square, which is 35 on every side, so 35 multiplied by 35, because length times width is the formula for finding square, and length is 35 and width is 35. So length times width, or we can write that down as 35 times 35 is equal to area. Okay, and that is 1,255 or 25. That is our answer for the square. So now we got the square. Now what we have to do is we have to find the formula or find the area of one of the rectangles and multiply, not rectangles, triangles, and multiply that by 4. We already know that the bottom side is going to be 35, and we recently found that this middle part is going to be 27 or 27.8. So now it's pretty simple. The formula for a triangle is base times height divided by 2. That's area for triangle, right? Now we can replace these with our values. So base is going to be 35 times height, which is going to be 27.8 over 2. So first, let's find our multiplication. So 35 times 27.8 is equal to 973. And finally, we simply just divide that by 2, and that is going to be equal to 486.5. Now that's only one of these triangles, remember that. So now we simply have to multiply by 4. So 486.5 multiplied by 4 is equal to 1,946. And all we have to do is now add the triangles to the square. So what we do is the value of the square is 1,225. So 1,225 for the square plus our triangles, 1,946. And our answer is 3,171. And put our proper measurements, which are meters. And since this is surface area, we put squared. So that's the answer.